Hello, and what is going on today, guys? Tomcat here. I hope you guys are having an awesome day so far, and this will be the first time in a long time that the Crew 2 has been seen on my channel, and there's a reason for that. Because when I started playing the Crew 2 earlier this year, it was really fun for a little while, the beta was fun, and then the full game was fun too. But I gotta be brutally honest, I lost interest in the game pretty quickly, and it seems like a lot of you guys did too. And I noticed that as a response from not only like how I was personally feeling about the game, but also the videos themselves, and people were just not as into the Crew 2 as I think a lot of people just kind of expected the game to be based on how much hype there was around it. But there is a new update coming on the 5th of next month, December 5th, and it's basically based around this idea of PvP and Demolition Derby. Now, this will be a new thing for the Crew 2, specifically because we'll be able to do more to a car than just scratch it. But not that if you were expecting it to be something where everything is going to have a whole bunch of crazy damage now, that's not exactly what's happening. And I'll get into why in a little while, but the main thing that I wanted to say first off is they've shown 5 of the Demolition Derby cars, and I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the first one on screen right now. Now, these cars are all made by a fictional company called Fender. And the reason for that is, I'm sure it's because of the fact that the licensing people for actual car companies probably don't want to see their cars getting smashed up. And it makes sense. I understand why, but at the same time, it's definitely, you know, something that you look into and you can see, like, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, that's the reason why games like Wreckfest don't have licensed cars. And that's why if they wanted to bring something like Demolition Derby into the Crew 2, they had to do it with non-licensed cars. Now, these cars will be able to you'll be able to fully destroy them, fully disable them, and that's actually pretty cool. And I have to admit that when it comes down to it, I like the idea of what they're doing here with these cars. They've got a cool look to them. They look raw. They look like cars that you would see, you know, maybe in that setting. At least, I mean, when they're clean, they might not look that way. But when you're driving them around one of the Demolition Derby arenas, of which there are 2, then I think there's going to be a little bit more to like about these particular cars. They've also got something that looks a little bit like kind of like a Bel Air, kind of not, but it's got kind of that similar style. They've also got a truck, which looks really cool. And other than that, there's only one more car, and the last car is a little bit odd looking. I'm going to put it on the screen right now, and you guys can, I guess, draw your own opinions of it from that. Now, for the Demolition Derby arenas themselves, there's not too much to go on right now, except for what you see in the very short trailer that they recently released. But I did actually kind of go, you know, frame by frame through it, and was able to get a little bit of a look at what is kind of they're calling the aircraft cemetery. And as you can see, there's a lot of, like, it's sort of a big mixture of a bunch of different figure-8 style courses, and you've got these massive walls with big ramps to get up to them, and you can kind of see where there would be, you know, there's going to be a lot of intensity in that arena, and there's also going to be another arena out in the Bonneville Salt Flats where there'll be obstacles to avoid and dodge that will be active, so they'll be active within the gameplay, while you're also trying to avoid as well as take down other players. Now, from what I've been able to find out, these cars will also be available to use in free mode as part of your normal garage. They won't be event restricted, which is cool. I like that. I like that they're just kind of being like, okay, if you want the cars, here are the cars. Go have fun. Go do whatever you want with them. And they should be destructible in the main game as well as in the Demolition Derby mode, which I also think is cool because then, you know, it's the Crew 2, it's an open, you know, it's a very open, do whatever you want style game, and these vehicles being available in free mode with their full destructibility gives you the opportunity to do, like, if you wanted to do some sort of crazy, like, wild, all over the place, open world Demolition Derby, I mean, hell, you could. I wonder, actually, since we just plowed into that tree in the Viper, and we came out completely unscathed, I wonder what would happen to one of the Demo Derby cars if we did the same thing. I also wonder how they're going to perform. I wonder if they're going to be fairly slow, or if they're going to be, like, wildly fast, with, like, you know, with crazy performance that, you know, that would help with their kind of like aggression style like aggression driving style. I feel like it would be an interesting thing to see once this update actually does come out. The other vehicle that they also showed was a plane that they plan to add as well as part of the update. And this is not all the vehicles, but these are all the ones that they showed. And this is the new plane. It's kind of like a a little bit of like a stunt plane style deal if you're into planes. I'm not particularly into the planes. I enjoy flying them around, but I'm definitely not like, that's not my favorite part of the game for sure. Like, I play the game for the cars, and that's just why I play the game. The planes are a nice add-on, obviously, for sure, and they do make the game unique, but still, I definitely will be sticking to some of the more car-focused stuff. Now, let's talk about PvP, because PvP is something that is not necessarily, I mean, it's new. It's a new thing to the game, and I think it's something that a lot of people have been excited about, and it's something that a lot of people have been waiting for. So let's talk about it for a little while and just kind of like give a little bit of detail into what they'll be doing. Now, the new PvP basically supports up to 8 players per session, and if you're at the very least a rookie level, then you will have access to it. Now, it's going to rotate through a variety of different events and different disciplines, and it's kind of like, seems like sort of like a basic enough approach to PvP, but at the same time, it's something that a lot of people have been waiting for in terms of the Crew 2. Now, if I could just say for a quick second, whenever I come back and play this game, especially since I haven't played it in a long time, it's one of those games that I come back to, and I'm like, I like it, it's fun, but I feel like I've always, this has always been that one big gripe for me about these games, about like the Crew 2 in general. Like, the physics are just weird to me. They always have been, and the Crew 2 is obviously a lot better than the Crew 1 in terms of physics, but they still feel weird. They just feel super weird. That cow got yeeted, by the way, completely and utterly yeeted, but no, the physics have always been one of those things that have been just that little bit of weird, like just weird enough to me that I'm like, I don't know how I feel about it. Like, it just kind of is one of those, it's like that last little thing that keeps me from diving deep into the game and spending a lot of time on the game, whereas I find myself sometimes spending a little bit more time in, let's say, other games of similar types. So, but to finish off about the update, I'm actually really, really looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to how it's going to play and how it's going to feel. And I'm looking forward to the Demolition Derby specifically because that is going to be something that I think is going to make the game, like, regardless of physics, I think it's going to make the game a lot more fun, and I think it's going to give people something to do that's different from your normal assortment of roaming around the world, planes, cars, boats, doing your normal assortment of races and drifting and stuff like that. I think it's going to mix up the gameplay and really refresh the game and give people a new lens to look at the game through. So I think that they've taken a little bit of a page out of Wreckfest's book and possibly put it to good use. I really hope that they put it to good use, and I hope that the game mode works really, really well. And I personally would love to get Mustang Matt back on here for another, for a few videos of Demolition Derby once it comes out. That would be amazing because I think the two of us would have an absolute blast with it, and I know you guys like seeing videos with Mustang Matt here on the channel because I know that we did some multiplayer videos back in the Crew 2, and some of them actually you guys really enjoyed. So I'll definitely be catching up with him pretty soon about seeing if I can get him on for some Demolition Derby because I think it would be really, really fun. Now, as far as which vehicle I'm most excited to drive when it comes to Demolition Derby, I think that the truck actually is going to be my go-to. I'm really excited to get behind the wheel of that thing. I think it looks just really, really mean, and it's just like a big brute of a thing. And I feel like it would be the best one for just demolishing other people in a Demolition Derby mode. Like, whether you're hitting them from the side, the front, behind, like, whatever, like, front bumper, back bumper, like, side of the car, it's gonna make a big dent. It's gonna make a huge dent. And that particular drift right there where I went backwards, it was not just a mistake. And I want to actually emphasize the fact that I was looking for maximum angle, and I found it, and I found what was past it as well. So yeah, when you find maximum angle in the Crew 2, they make it very, very well known because you end up going backwards into a fence. But I would rather have gone backwards into the fence than gone backwards off the edge, so I'm kind of glad that fence was there. It's kind of one of those times where, like, you're going along and part of you wishes that those fences were breakable, but then when you accidentally go backwards into one, you're kind of grateful that they aren't breakable. So it's this weird back and forth that you get into sometimes, and you're like, huh, yeah, there's times where you're grateful that they're unbreakable. So I don't know. You can go back and forth on your opinions with that, but I mean, yeah, it would be cool if they were breakable, but at the same time, you know, there are occasions where you're like, oh, I'm glad that didn't break on me. But if you guys enjoyed this look into the Crew 2's update coming on December 5th, then leave me a like. Let me know in the comment section below what part of it you're excited about, and if you're new to the channel, make sure you click subscribe for more daily videos covering everything from the Crew 2 to Forza Horizon 4 to Spin Tires Mud Runner to many other games, and I will talk to you guys next time. See y'all later.